Hey, this is FLIPaBRIK, and today I'm going to teach you how to use Audacity. Audacity is pretty much a program where you can edit sound, either songs or voice clips of recordings that you did, and it comes in handy for brick filming because you can change the pitch of the sounds or the voice clips that you receive from others to make them sound deeper, or like an older male or female or whatever you want them to sound like, and you can even make it sound higher for a little kid. So it's a really handy software that you can use for many different things, and I'll teach you how to use it with this. As you can probably see, I already have Audacity up here in this page, and what we will start with is getting a basic sound recording to work with and mess around with and see what we can do with it. So I'll click here, the record button. Of course, it wasn't that hard to see. So I will record something and I'll play it back to you now.
This message is moving.
It wasn't that hard to see. You kind of had the volume low there. I'll show you again. Of course, it wasn't that hard to see. So there's our recording, and as you can see, if you can see, right over here there's a line, and it's kind of a thick line right now, and that shows that there's lots of background noise. And what we want to do is get rid of that background noise so that everything will sound clear and it'll just be my voice that will be played without all the extra background noise. So first thing we'll do is drag the cursor along there and highlight that. We do not want to highlight any part of the voice clips that I've said, as that will kind of ruin it. But as I said, we highlight this, and it's really key to highlight just the section you want so that it'll work. Then you go to Effect. It's the 6th button over up there, and you go down to where it says Noise Removal. And I don't know if you can see here or not, but here it says Get Noise Profile, and that's what you will want to click. That way it kind of saves the information of that little clip of background noise. Before you go in to remove all the noise, you have to click in this box, as long as you don't click mute or solo, just anywhere in that box that isn't a button, to highlight the whole entire thing. Now you could just drag the cursor along the whole thing to highlight it all, but it's quicker just to do one click. Now you go into Effect, back to Noise Removal, and instead of clicking Get Noise Profile, we will mess around with this bar. Now, if you want it to sound robotic and, I don't know, just kind of robotic, you can click to remove more noise, and that'll kind of cut some of what you say, and yeah. Of course. That didn't really show because it only gives a small preview of it, but I usually put it almost all the way down, or the second one up, because otherwise it sounds like you're talking in a tin can pretty much. It has a lot of echo and it just doesn't sound right. So we'll push remove noise, and as you can see now, the line has gotten a much thinner. It's gotten a lot thinner. So that's a good thing. That means it removed the noise. And I think I'm good. This whole segment here where it's just nothing, I'll just delete. And I just click delete if you're wondering what I did. And I highlighted it too. And now we'll replay what I said. Of course. It wasn't that hard to see. So, usually what I'll do is just cut out both ends, highlight it and delete, just so that it's only the line that I want. And now I'll show you how you can do fun things like changing the effect. But make sure before you go into anything, you highlight the whole thing, otherwise it won't be effective at all. So you go into effect, and we go to change pitch. So right there, if you could see, you probably couldn't, but there's the choice to change pitch, change speed, and change tempo. The speed is pretty much what most people do, and that's just making it faster or slower, which makes it deeper or higher. And really that doesn't work too well, because then you're changing the speed, so yeah, it just doesn't work out. But the tempo and the pitch are a mix, are what you combine together to get speed. So when we change the pitch, we don't change the speed. So we'll want to go into the negatives, as that'll make it deeper. I'll put it at 14, and we'll show you how that sounds.
Of course. It wasn't that hard to see.
And as you can see, that kind of makes it a little deeper, like older male.
Of course. It wasn't that hard to see.
So, if you're wondering, this line is from the new animation contest over at brickfilms.com. And if you're interested in that, you can see it. It's creating a story around a line. And that line that I just said is that line where you pretty much write a story that focuses or even just includes that one line, and to be as creative as possible with it. It's a pretty good idea. Okay, so we'll push OK to change the pitch, and now...
Of course. It wasn't that hard to see.
It is deeper. And with that, you can make it higher by going up in the positives to make it sound like Fred or an Oompa Loompa or a chipmunk. There's all those different levels. Next thing, I'll show you that what you can do. You can also add another soundtrack type thing, audio track, and you could either put a song in there or record another voice. In this case, I'll record another voice over that. Of course, it wasn't that hard to see, except that turned out really bad and it's not even at all, but I'll show you.
Of course, it wasn't that hard to see.
So as you can see, we can add another voice in there, even 3. Of course, it wasn't that hard to see.
Of course, it wasn't that hard to see.
And they will play over each other, and if you get it good, you can just kind of mess around with that. Maybe do a 3-part harmony or a 4-part harmony, whichever way you'd like. And so,
Of course, it wasn't that hard to see.
You can make a crowd of people repeating the same thing, and just change their pitches, and they'll sound like different people. So, it's a pretty cool software, and really I'd just say experiment around with it. You can even lower the volume on one and make it higher on the other to make a crowd of people, one person speaking above the rest.
Of course, it wasn't that hard to see.
And you can just pretty much experiment, use things. Don't be afraid to click buttons. Okay, so for using Audacity, I would suggest getting a pretty good microphone. Right now, I do not have a good microphone. I mean, it works, and as you can see, it was pretty good. It didn't sound the greatest it could have, but you can fix most of that on Audacity. It's just some things that you just can't fix because it's just a bad microphone. But most things you can fix on Audacity. And I would say pretty much experiment a lot with Audacity, just work with it, learn the buttons, learn how to use it. That was pretty much the basics of what you need to use it for Brick Films. And yeah, I used to have a better microphone than this, and I voice recorded in a couple of movies. And it sounded pretty good because I obviously made my voice lower than what it really is. So it sounded like, I don't know, 20 years old. So, hope this helped, answered your questions. If you have any questions, just comment and I'll be sure to answer them. Okay, see ya.